Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to show you my daily makeup routine and how I end up looking like this for work every day. First, I get my Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil 5 and I outline the shape that I'm trying to get. Once I got the shape that I want, I start filling it out all the way through. And once I filled it out, I also brush it out, which I don't show in this video, but before I start actually filling it out, I usually brush it. And then I fill it all the way through to the end, leaving nothing left, just completely. Then I get my NYX eyebrow gel Expresso, which I use with a very thin brush to thicken the eyebrow and kind of get the natural look, because with the pencil you just get the look of, you get the shape you want. However, to be able to get the natural brown look, I use the NYX eyebrow gel, which I use to form a unibrow to get the symmetry of both eyebrows, leaving no room for chance for it to look unidentical. Once I've done that, I get my foundation, which I'll show you later in a different video, and I use it to outline my eyebrow, letting it stand out the shape which I've already formed, still in a unibrow. Don't worry, we're gonna get rid of that later, but as of now, the main thing is we get the shape we want. Once that is done, I use my little brush to put enough foundation round my face, after which I use a big brush to mix it up and spread it around. The thing is that I don't like to have a lot of product in my face because they end up looking a bit cakey, and that is not the result you're looking for. You want it looking less cakey, more natural, and like not so much. So once you've gotten that, you want to spread it out with this brush, which is not, it's not itchy, it's just this brush is like an even brush on all sides. Once you get this kind of big thick brush that is super even and it's a very flat surface, it can be used to spread around your foundation. Once you've gotten that, you just use a little foam to kind of spread it, to kind of clean up, to dab around your face. You use it to dab around your face, kind of giving you that natural look, because you don't want it looking like you actually used foundation. You want it to have a smooth finish, and to be able to get this smooth finish, you need to have this foam. Just get a regular makeup foam, which you'd use to just dab around. You don't actually need a beauty blender for this part. You just need to make sure you get a very good foam, which is going to be used for that. Once you've gotten that through, you get out your foundation stick, which is the Burjois Blur the Line foundation, which concealer, which I use to use the top of my, then I use the concealer to top up. It's kind of like a very good concealer to use under your eyebrow, letting the shape of the eyebrow stand out. Don't worry, I'll put it in the description later on so you can just check it out. And then I also use the Black Up Radiance concealer NCOS 03, which I use to kind of top up on that concealer. It's kind of an orangish color, which would work for my kind of skin tone. Make sure you get a skin tone that is the tone that is slightly lighter than your skin. The first concealer I used, it is absolutely lighter than my skin, and then this third concealer is exactly my skin tone. It's not exactly, slightly lighter than my skin. It is the Benefit Bowing Cakeless concealer, and the darker version. I'll put the detail of that in the description. Once I've gotten all three concealers on my face, I get a dome brush and I use it to dab around my face, getting all the spots that I'm missing. I go all the way around, making sure you kind of dab with this brush like as if you're using a beauty blender, except you're not. So you use it very gently, use it to dab around, make sure it gets a smooth finish. Once you see that you have your smooth finish all the way through, you get your Fenty Expresso matchstick, and you use it to darken the parts of your face that you want to stand out, to be darkened while you're because you're going to have a nice contour at the end, which is kind of a light contour, not super sharp, but enough to just bring out your facial features So once you've gotten all that through, you get your beauty blender and you start to dab around your face. Now the thing that is about this beauty blender that I have is kind of like a stick beauty blender. It has a stick at the end, although the other half of the stick has been broken off this one that I'm using. But I use it, like, I prefer the stick one only because I can control the way I dab my face and I don't have to use all my hand to dab my face. Like, I get nothing, no product on my hand while I do this. The only thing that touches my face is the beauty blender. So I would suggest, if you can get this in a store near you, I would say go get it. Although I'm not really sure where I got this from, but I'll try to remember that and put it out in the description as well. Once you've dabbed around your face and you've gotten all the edges around your face, then we can move to the next step. Then I get my Shade and Light by Kat Von D palette, which I use with this brush which I got from Igliot. I'll tell you the details in the description. Well, it's kind of a powder brush, so you don't actually have to get this particular brush. If you have a powder brush, I would say get one, use it to kind of put why we're doing this is we're putting a lighter shade over the places we put the concealer in, just to make sure it's kind of matte. All those areas are kind of matte and not shining and making your face shine. Like, I have an oily skin, so I would usually do this to make sure my face doesn't look too oily. Once I get my matte ink liner by Makeup Forever, which is super sharp. Like, if you want to have those straight line eyeliner, I'd say this is your best bet, because it's gonna look so sharp and kind of shiny in a way. You know, those, I don't like those matte eyeliner, because it's kind of like, what's the point of wearing an eyeliner if you ain't gonna show it off, right? So I'm like, you know what, just get the one that shines a bit and has a perfect line and you're good to go. I mean, all you need to do is just focus on your eye while you're doing it and make sure you get that straight line. Once you're focused, and do a couple of straight, like, I'll show you some tips on how to cover up if you make mistakes in some other video, but right now we're trying to just get the straight line, right? So once you got in that, you're good to go, but just make sure you don't miss the edges. So I do a first line usually, and then I do a line over it to make sure I get this perfect shape. Next thing I want to do is get my mascara, which is the Rose Volume Lash Waterproof Mascara is the first one I use, which is used to stretch out my natural lashes, because I don't like using artificial lashes. I'd rather just use my lashes. So basically you want some mascara that enhances your eyelashes. So this one stretches it out and gives it volume, which I suggested, which is really good. And then I use a second one, which is the Benefit Back Mascara, which kind of elongates your eyelashes. So it kind of gives it the illusion of a very long eyelash, especially if you already have a longer eyelash. It makes it even look way fuller than usual. Then I use my Radial Instaglam highlighter. I'll give you the detail of that in the description as well. I use a small brush and just put it at the edge of my eye and the top of my eye, just making sure that I get all those edges. It's the ends that I'm more interested in, so that it looks like it gives it it makes your eyes pop. You don't need to have you don't need to use some eyeshadow. All you need is a little bit under your eye and over your eye, and you get the corners on top of your eyeliner, not on your eyeliner, and make sure it doesn't touch your eyeliner at all. Once you've put it there, you can use the brush to kind of spread it out all around that area of your eye. So don't miss a spot. Try to just take your time, do it nicely so you don't smudge your eye, and make sure whenever you're doing it, make sure your eyes is closed straight. Like, don't bend your eye, close it completely. Once you've done that, you get your highlighter brush for your face and you touch your face very lightly. You don't want to be going all the way, right? So just try to touch it super lightly, your cheek, the top of your cheekbones. So that's where you're aiming for. You just touch it lightly and you go all the way to the top and back to the center. Once you've done that, you go to the tip of your nose, you put a little bit, and over your mouth as well, just a little bit. You kind of like bend your lips and raise it up a little bit so that you don't miss the edges. Once you've done that, you go for your lipstick, which is the Luxe Matte Lipstick Fever Pitch by Bobbi Brown. You use that as a base. Sometimes I use lip liner, but this lipstick is kind of very thick and you don't really need a lip liner to kind of put it under. Some lipsticks are super light, then you use a lip liner to kind of make it look thicker. Then I use the Note lipstick, the purple one. I'll give you the detail of that in the description. The purple one, I use it to create an illusion of a lip liner over it, but kind of like it's gonna kind of like it'll make the red one it'll make it pop even more because it's like in the center, and then it goes with my skin tone. Then I use the Victoria's Secret purple lip gloss. I'll tell you more details about that in the description. Once I've gotten that, it kind of gives it a more thickened look. So once I put that on, then I top up the red lipstick with the Gosh Liquid Matte Lips. It's called Lèvres Liquid Matte in French, which I can't speak. So that was just my attempt at speaking French. Once I've done that, I powder my face with the Jennifer Lopez Aigle powder all over, leaving out just the top of my eye, which I can't reach. So I'm just gonna do every other part of my face would be powdered all the way through. Once I've done that, I get my hangover spray, my hangover 3-in-1 Too Faced spray, which is awesome in keeping your face and your makeup looking fabulous throughout the day. And I use it, I spray it all over my face, and voila, that's how I get my face beat up. I let it dry out. Once it's dried out, I have this fabulous look with my hair all done, and that is it. I hope you loved it. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and more detail, and tell me what you want to see next. And